This video's for you if no matter how hard you try, you just can't figure it out. You like, life is hard. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And then by the end of this video, I'm going to help you understand what you can do to combat that feeling. So I was watching the Nature Boy documentary on Hulu, like just finished it last night and I could not sleep. So I'm like, the entire time I'm watching this, I'm like, why are these people still there? Why haven't they left? They are staying. The conditions are terrible. It is chaotic. They are exhausted. It is drama. It is violence. It is just not giving. And even in all of that, many of them even said out of their own mouths, they were miserable and they didn't want to be there. So I'm like, why are they still there? And I literally had to sleep on it. So today, while I'm out running my errands, it literally just hit me. And I'm like, because you know your best ideas come to you in the car when you're driving. It literally just hit me. I was thinking about a lot of the comments that I got in one of my recent videos where people were literally asking me, like, if real estate is so hard and so stressful, like, why are you still doing it? And I'm like, this is the same question I'm asking about these people in this Nature Boy documentary. And I realized both of those conversations were ordering around the same thing. And I'm not going to get into the details of the documentary. It's your classic cult style documentary, except it was set in the last 4 or 5 years. And I don't know where I've been under a rock. I had no idea any of that was going on. So I was watching like, what? What's happening? But so the thought I had today was not necessarily why wouldn't they leave? But I was like, no, it's much deeper than that. Like, they're running from something. I'm like, what are they running from? Because for them to think that being in this crazy environment that they couldn't control, they were being mistreated, they were being misled, being taken advantage of. I'm like, for them to think that whatever was back at home was worse than what they were in now, I was like, that's it. I'm like, they were running from something that was so detrimental. So they were running from some serious trauma. They kept saying that they wanted freedom and that they wanted peace and awakening. And it's like, that's what you say when something is going on, something traumatic or something that you're trying to avoid in your daily life. And I'm like, what they liked about the cult lifestyle is that they were often these beautiful places. They didn't have to work. They didn't have any bills. It was just frolicking and doing as you please. And I'm like, I think that was the rub. Because a lot of them, they had left jobs, they had left college. It seemed like they were early adults who were really bucking against modern adulthood, who really just, saw that modern adulthood can be the ghetto sometimes. And it's like they wanted to avoid that so bad that they put themselves in situations that made no sense. I mean, some of the decisions people were making, it was like, you did not think that through at all. So what was going on is that the cult leader, he's like live streaming everything all the time. So as more and more people join the cult, they know exactly what they're signing up for. Like, this is not old age cult where you show up at a church and you have no idea what they're doing in the basement. Everybody knew what was going on with this cult and they still showed up. So I'm like, is modern adulthood become that bad that people are willing to go to such lengths to avoid it? I think people are more mentally exhausted than they care to admit. I mean, lifestyle creep, everything is super expensive, parenting costs, inflation, change of government, corporate instability, AI taking all of our jobs. It's just left, right, and center. Everywhere you go, there's some sort of pressure. Like, we're literally in a pressure cooker right now. And it doesn't seem to be any finish line, right? I think, for previous generations, there was a point where you had made it. There was a point where, you had your job, you were going to retire from there, you had your house, you were going to die there. Like, they had to work to get to a certain point, but then there was a dream of coasting. I mean, it was a reality for them that they would get to coast. But I think what people are seeing now is that there is no coast. There is no, I made it. Like, every time you think you made it somewhere, the goalpost just moves. And so I think people in all walks of life are just feeling stuck and trapped. And I don't think that people are actually trying to get to a luxurious lifestyle anymore, or to be, doing the most, going above and beyond. People are looking for relief right now. In looking for relief, it'll have you thinking that opting out of this whole modern adulthood business is a better alternative. And that's exactly what they were doing in the documentary. They were simply opting out. And when I think about everything that's been going on, probably the last 10 years, people living in vans, van life, off the grid. Everybody's talking about leaving the US now so that they can go live a low cost life and much less stress. People doing tiny homes, the whole fire movement, like everyone's obsession to basically chill. And I don't think it's about being lazy. I just think it's about, at some point you thought you were going to get to relax and that you were going to get some time off. But what we're seeing is that there's no end in sight. And even for myself, right? I run a real estate portfolio. A lot of people in the comments are like, why do you still work? You can't make that work. Isn't it enough money? No, it's not enough money. And it's not that the business isn't making money. It's just that with everything else that is going on around me, it's just that it still doesn't feel like enough to chill and relax, because that you never know what is coming next down the pipe. Like, they could change the taxation laws. My property tax bill could double. Like, anything can happen. And so it's like everybody's just climbing, trying to get more. And I think some people are just like, you know what? I'd rather not. I'm opting out and I'm going to go chill, enjoy my life, and just get out of this hustle culture. I think that's what it is. Modern adulthood has turned into hustle culture. And it's like we never opted into this hustle culture. It just happened. And now you either play the game, or you on the streets homeless, or you leave the country, or you do some extreme like go join a cult where you don't have to worry about any of these pressures. But the dangerous part of being in a pressure cooker 24/7 is how vulnerable it makes people and how desperate they get. And like, once people get desperate, you can't make sense of their decisions and actions. It's not logic. They're not thinking clearly, and they are just looking for some sort of rescue. They waiting for the rescue raft to pull up. And for the people who joined Nature Boy's cult, they saw him as the rescue raft because he was selling that relief. He was selling that you can leave modern adulthood and come over here with me and allow yourself to regulate. And I think at the root of it, people are just tired of being on edge all the time. Like, people just want their nervous systems to chill and mellow out. And I think they wanted that so bad that they accepted this fake freedom because it felt better than a pressure cooker. And I think if I think about my own journey, people are like, why are you still doing real estate? I'm still doing it because it beats a blank. I've been laid off from corporate America twice. And so I know that whether I want to or not, I have to have some way of earning independently. And there are some sunk costs involved, right? I've owned these properties. I've been investing in real estate for over 8 years. And I'm just now waking up to the fact that maybe in seeking relief from being in the pressure cooker of life, not having multiple streams of income and being beholden to one employer, that I possibly jumped into another pressure cooker and didn't know it. But at least I have control over this one. I can exit at any time and go down another path, choose another option, find relief in some other way. And I think when people feel like they don't have options, anything is like a great alternative. When you have very little options, you'll try anything for some relief, to regulate your nervous system, to feel like life is bearable again. But I think despite it all, instead of trying to escape the pressures of modern adulthood or trying to disappear from society and do anything extreme to find relief, I think you need to find leverage. And that's why I'm still involved in real estate, because it's a leverage tool. I might not like the operation side of it, but I still like the idea of it, right? The idea that, I bought properties many years ago and now, if I wanted to take equity, I could because it satisfies having options, multiple streams of income, flexibility, reducing dependency. And so for me, I guess what I would say to anybody who feels under immense pressure right now is instead of focusing on the pressure, I think you have to start trying to build leverage so that your life stops feeling like survival, persistent survival. Because I think real freedom it's not no stress, it's not no pressure, it's reduced panic, it's reduced desperation. And that's one thing that real estate does provide for me. But for some people, it's the stock market. For some people, it's, side hustles. It's whatever they do to keep themselves going and not completely overwhelmed by everything that's going on in the world and not feeling like the only thing I can do is opt out at this point. Watching the documentary, it made me realize something just a little bit uncomfortable, that if we don't actually build lives that feel sustainable and find some sources of relief for ourselves, that we'll see more and more people turn into drastic measures simply looking for relief, not thinking clearly. And quite frankly, it's affecting us all. And it's like when you go out, you don't know who you're going to encounter. You don't know what kind of day people are having. So be kind. As you out moving around, like keep that in mind. People in the pressure cooker, they barely surviving. You don't know what day it is for them. And they might just be trying to hold it together today. My name is Jerry, and if you're still here, do me a favor, go ahead and give that like button a smash. Keep building that confidence and keep building that cash. You can get a behind the scenes look at my businesses over on Substack at Confidence is Cash, and you can see how I'm using AI to run all of my businesses on the Prompt Life podcast here on YouTube. That's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. See you next week.